right, I want to do fat versus fit now, because I'm curious on what this conversation. Wait, influencers find common ground. Oh yeah, it's middle ground. Yeah. Super interested in what this conversation is going to be about.
Hey, do you love middle ground?
Yeah.
I know I do. Did you know that every purchase made at the Jubilee shop helps fund this show? If you're looking for ways to support Jubilee and watch more episodes of Middle Ground, make sure you check out our merch at shop.jubileemedia.com. Honestly, every one of your purchases goes such a long way, and we're so grateful for you.
Same.
And enjoy this episode.
When I hear the term fat influencer, I'm thinking like an unhealthy standard being set. I just can't get behind being complacent.
Well, I want to say that it doesn't mean complacency.
Oh shit. Okay, so since I'm fat, I will have stronger points in this video because I am fat.
My name's Timothea, and fitness has been a huge part of my life, and I love to share what I know about it. Overall, it's just a way of life.
My name is Tyler. I'm a fat influencer, and on my platform, I like to spread body positivity, mental health awareness, and fashion, looking good while fat.
So when I think of the
I'm fat having to pay this argument. Yes.
Influencers who are either promoting others to
We
be
stand.
fat in the same sense that fitness
Damn.
influencers promote fitness.
All right, but I
don't
kind of want a
people
body
that
like that
obsess
though.
over
Like,
being fat.
goddamn.
Just like I don't like people that obsess over fitness. I'm in my own fitness journey, and a lot of people like it because I'm not the stereotypical dude.
The misconception that the opposite side
respect.
has of me is that I have some agenda to keep people fat, to promote obesity, to tell anybody anything about their size.
Step forward.
okay, we got some very different
I
points of
promote
view here.
Healthy standards as an influencer.
Ooh. Oh wait, so okay, so I thought this guy, since he used to be fat, was gonna be on the fat influencers, but yeah, no, he's also fit because he is working towards a goal, which is makes sense.
I think
I would
we
say
need
he's
to
kind of in
discuss
the middle
what
though,
healthy means
you know?
first, because healthy means many different things. So, like, what does health mean to you guys?
For me, I don't focus on diet and weight loss as a tool for health and how I communicate that. I focus on movement and finding movement that works for you, that feels good and is sustainable in your body. Because ultimately, I think everybody would agree, movement is healthy, exercise is healthy. In the fitness world, and I myself am a yoga instructor, so I kind of
Stop hitting your mic.
I think there's an overemphasis on physicality and diet and exercise.
Personally, I'm a fat guy, and I've been tired of being a fat guy. And I've actually been told that my approach to it is a little bit extreme. So, I'll do like 24-hour fasts. I'll do intermediate fasting, liquid diets, things like
Like
that.
fit
Some
influencers
people
I've
say
seen,
it's an unhealthy
because honestly they
habit.
give
They say
me
like I got an eating disorder,
you're
but at the
skinny
same
or you're
time, I am
ugly
seeing
vibes.
results.
So
I do feel like I
yeah.
can run faster.
I mean, I think a lot of like modern influencers that are like fit influencers. Yeah, it is a very like if you're not like skinny and healthy like us, then you're pretty much like bottom of the barrel. You're not as good as us, which is like it's a terrible way to think. But honestly, yeah, that's a good point. Not all influencers are like that. There is some fit influence like this guy, for example, that is just showing how he's working for a goal and wants to show to the world and help other people to succeed and also be healthy, because it is good to be healthy. It's it is bad to pretend that like it's good to have body positivity. It's good to have positivity of our body and be comfortable, but it's also good to be healthy, and because being obese, that it is really unhealthy. It causes health risks in the future, and it can be very detrimental to your health. You shouldn't be okay with being unhealthy, but you should be okay with going out to fix that in your body currently. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I think that's kind of like the middle ground they should go
longer. I kind of feel like when I hear the term fat influencer, I'm thinking like an unhealthy standard being set. I just can't get behind
like
being complacent.
Well, I want to say that it doesn't mean complacency, right? So a little bit about me is that I was a 3-sport athlete almost my entire life. Went to college,
Damn.
played the sport, And then I decided, I've always been, you know, a big person, and I was able to manipulate my weight.
Yeah, I follow a dude who's on the thicker side but started losing weight for himself and concentrating his followers. I'm doing this for myself. Do it makes you happy with your body, and if you want to follow in my steps, you can do it, and I'm proud of you for going, yeah. And I think that's a great, like, fat influencer. You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's focusing on himself. It's not about, oh yeah, guys, be fat and be, you know, it's good to be fat. It's good to be obese. Like, he sets standards for himself, and he just wants people to be happy with themselves, but also understand that, or let people understand that, like, oh yeah, but I also want to be healthy, and this is like good for me, you know. And if that's something you want to do as well, then you're free to join me. I think that's a great, like, mental to have. Like, you can, of course, be happy with whatever you want to be happy with, but you should also not be afraid of being healthy. Here's an example of a good middle ground. Yeah, I agree.
Because I also wrestled, so I would bulk up for football season, lose for wrestling, and rinse and repeat. Because of that, though, now my approach is really just about making sure that you take
I love
care
this
of
guy's
your
beard.
total self, so your mind and your body, and also just making sure that you check in with, you know, medical professionals. I work in healthcare, and so I don't tend to take advice from people who are not medical professionals.
And I would just like to speak up. Like, we're all different. Yeah, there are fat influencers out there that have unhealthy lifestyles that share it, but that's their lifestyle. There are fat influencers that are motivational, that are trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
There are fat influencers out there that just are existing in this world and trying to make it accommodating to themselves and people that look like them. So there are so many fat people in this world, and to like label them all a certain way or to put them in a category where they have to perform to make you feel comfortable is disingenuous. It's not good.
But I don't think anyone's really doing that. I think the only person that can do that is the influencer themselves. I think when you're saying that, like, people are putting them in this category where they have to perform like a circus animal to make other people feel comfortable, like, no one does that. I think there's influencers that are just wanting to make people feel comfortable, and also, you know, expressing that in different ways. You know what I mean?
That's what kind of upset me. That's why I started my journey at the end of the day, was because, you know, I was depressed. I lost my job in the midst of COVID, and I'm unhappy with who I am. And then I see someone on social media that's like, it's okay to be who you are. And I was like, you're telling me that the way I feel is okay, but at the end of the day, I hate how I feel. And so it was kind of out of protest that I started this journey, and I'm damn glad I did. At the end of the day, you're doing a disservice.
That's a good
to
point,
people
though.
around you that care about you, whether it be close, relatives, society, etc. And to see someone use a platform like that as a fellow fat kid my entire life, it just pissed me off.
I hear what you're saying, and it's valid. I've been fat my entire life. I was a fat kid, fat teenager, fat adult, just fat. And that is not my story. And I see that played out over and over and over again in the world in art.
I don't like doctors because when I was young, they straight up just said, you're fat for a child, get healthy. Yeah, there's different ways fat people show they're comfortable with their bodies. I mean, yeah, like, doctors do that to me, but also it's like, it's kind of necessary because, like, you know, when you're a kid, it doesn't, like, you know, not until you get to, like, you know, 18, 19 into your 20s does it really affect you. You can be unhealthy / obese and kind of be okay until you get to a certain age, and that's when it really hits you. I mean, even like now for me, it's getting to me, and I'm trying to change my diet and get on a better diet and become a little more healthier. So like they're really just saying that so that you could fix it problem now while you're young and you have that metabolism, because when you get older, that metabolism goes away and it becomes way harder to get on a good diet. So like I see what you mean, and like it can be upsetting, but also there's a reason for it, and I think you know, if they just, you know, gave more necessary, like, help and support for things like that, instead of just saying, oh yeah, get healthy, you know, you're obese, fix it. because that's not gonna do anything. It never, like 9 times out of 10 that doesn't do anything. It doesn't help. You know what I mean? Like people grow into lifestyles and people can't always control it, and sometimes it's extremely hard. For me, it was hard when I got into my teenage years. I started getting a really bad metabolism, and it's extremely hard for me to lose weight. You know, that on top of my mom always feeding me like really bad food and not knowing how to make a diverse amount of meals, then you know it does get to you, and it's not easy, you know.
In
So
TV and
I
movies,
see,
like the
but it's
sad
also,
fat
you know,
trope, nobody's gonna
I
want
just wish
you,
they gave more
and that plays into
help.
the way we treat fat people. But that is not everybody's story. So to like, I hear that you were sad, you were unhealthy, you were uncomfortable, you were isolated. Like we can all relate to that, but that is not the story of every fat person.
I am on a journey to like myself in my skin, and that is something I believe is obtainable through hard work and dedication. I mean, nothing else worked, you know? Loving yourself, quote unquote, made me eat KFC 3 times a day and gain a lot of weight and turn sedentary. Hating myself encouraged me to be different and encouraged me to change my life. And as a result, I've influenced thousands of kids younger than me's lives.
Fat shaming is worse than skinny shaming.
No, I don't agree with that. I was gonna quickly say any time, just because I'm sorry, I'm quickly gonna say I've had really skinny friends that have gone through some shit. Yeah, both are very bad. I agree. Any type of body shaming is terrible. I've had really skinny friends that have gotten like bullied constantly for being skinny, scared to lift their shirt even a little bit so people can see their rib cage, because they're called a skeleton and they're made fun of. It's the same for people calling me a cow and people bullying me for being overweight. It's the same thing. Just because, like, and I think it's just because they don't understand. Like, cause a lot, and I'm saying this at, like, having fat friends and being in I guess the more obese community, you know what I mean, and having a lot of people around me with the same kind of mindset. A lot of people that are overweight, that got bullied for being overweight, have this thing where it's like, well, I'd rather be skinny than overweight, so it must not be that bad. They're just being babies, or they're just being like, you know, they're just being soft about it. It's like, no, dude, like, you don't, being skinny with an extremely high metabolism is worse than being fat with a slow metabolism. It is easier to lose weight than it is to gain weight. It just is. It is. It is so difficult to gain weight. And that is just as unhealthy as being obese. If not, it could be worse. It could seriously be fatal. Same, they're called anorexic skeleton, like they have high metabolism, they can't control it. Exactly, just like obese people have low metabolism and can't control it. It's, yeah. Skinny shame is just as awful as fat shaming. They have problems too. Yeah. Just because you want to look like them, you know, quote unquote, like, doesn't make it better or easier for them, you know?
It is based off of,
and I'm saying that as a person that did used to say that when I was a kid, uneducated. I used to say, nah, dude, like, you're skinny, you don't got any problems, relax. Growing up, I grew up around, like, you know, meeting more people and understanding more stories. You know, people, you know, being skinny shame sucks. It does.
aesthetic. Like, oh, you're so skinny. I wish I could be like that. I wish I could eat whatever I want and stay skinny. There are these assumptions we have about people in fat bodies that we don't place on thin people, even if they're thin beyond health. And it really makes it so that fat people are overlooked, and it creates an environment where it's okay to perpetuate hate and even violence.
Wait,
you know?
what?
Being thin won't limit you from being
I'm
able to
just gonna
shop
act
where
like I
you wanna
didn't
shop.
understand
You can
that,
walk into a
'cause maybe I
clothing
didn't.
store, get clothes right off the rack. Sometimes even have excess. You could go up or down the rack. In my experience, those are not my options. I shop online because I wear a size 15 shoe,
Dude.
because I'm 6'2" and I have a very
Just because your problems are different doesn't mean your problems are worse. What a terrible mindset.
broad body.
The skinny shaming, you know, there is that backhanded compliment. You know, you see that all the time. But when it comes to the fat shaming, you just see more negative out of it. And I just
That's not true.
It's horrible to see.
But being fat is still taboo, believe it or not.
Yeah.
My partner and I'm a gay man dating another fat black gay man, and we have gone viral on the internet a couple times. And you know what some of the comments were? Never seen two fat people together. I get pats on the back for posting a picture at the beach with no shirt on. Why am I being patted on the back for that?
Right.
Can they disagree a step?
While that is true, it doesn't mean your problem is worse than others. There are so many issues with skinny people and not being able to shop for clothes just as much as you can't, dude. Are you kidding me? Yeah, both get shamed, both get hate. One isn't worse than the other. 100%. What a terrible fucking take. That kind of pisses me off. Even being fat and, like, you know, living my whole life. I never was skinny.
Shaming,
Maybe when I was 5,
I just think back
you know?
to like middle school, high school, you know, picking on kids. It's bullying. I believe everyone goes through body dysmorphia. One of my homegirls is a model, and she.
Body dysmorphia disorder is a mental health disorder in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. A flaw that appears minor or can't be seen by others. Dude, I didn't know I had body dysmorphia, but here we are.
She's always complaining how she doesn't.
Right,
like
I'm
the
getting
way
mad
she
at
looks,
the
even
fat.
though
Yeah.
99% of all women would probably prefer to look like her. She hates the way she looks, and she's like, "I wish my boobs were bigger. I wish my butt was bigger." I believe, you know, that's the media, that's the entertainment industry. Is they have a standard of what, at the end of the day, is desired, I guess, but not everyone's built like Marilyn Monroe.
You said 99% of women would probably want to look like her. That's to me, some of the language that is the problem. Is that I'm assuming that she's probably of a thinner body, right? Because she's a model, but a lot of women don't. It's okay. Your body you are the standard. You are the model. You are the beauty. Like the fact that we think like that already is still what the problem is, and it's still why, to me, fat shaming is worse than the skinny shaming. Because like even our language, I know people just desire this really thin body. You know, it's like that's the language in the language. When I get negative,
there is not a show me a model that people don't discriminate that is like actually like, you know, like bone showing skinny, not like fit skinny. No, genuinely uncontrollable skinny, maybe borderline anorexic. And show me their comments and tell me they're not getting destroyed on social media. Please. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. You know? I don't want to be skinny. I want to be thick, but toned. Both get hate. One ain't worse than the other. Yeah. I agree. I want to be kind of like, yeah, like, cause I mean, I can't get skinny. I'm a big guy. Like, yeah, I'm overweight, but like, I am genuinely just a big guy. I got broad shoulders. I got, you know, naturally big thighs, big legs, you know, I already know I'm a big guy, you know, so it's like, if I do lose weight, I'm just gonna like tone down and just at least like shave this off. So at least I look good in shirts. And that's like, that would be my only goal for working out. I just want to shave like the stomach off, you know, the chest, and so at least look decent in t-shirts. And that would be like my skinny. Because that would be like me being fit, you know?
Negative comments about my relationship with my partner, I kind of like to troll back. For example, if I tweet a picture of us kissing or dancing, people will spew the homophobic slurs and stuff. So I like to then just share more pictures of us kissing and really double down into it and let them know, honey, you know, we're here to stay. The girls are not going anywhere, you know, and just letting them know that I'm confident in myself.
Yeah,
I'm happy, I'm in love, and I'm living my life.
But also, it's
I don't
like
think
not
I've ever
everyone can
been
do that.
shamed for my body. I was always moving. I was always, you know, that I stayed fit my whole life. You know, to be a fitness influencer, you have to have that image, that skinny, fit, toned look. That's really not the case. If you have the knowledge, if you have the passion to want to help people with their fitness journey, it doesn't matter.
That's true.
I highly believe that.
I feel pressure to look a certain way for my followers.
Oh man, yeah. He's gonna be the only one that sits down. 100%. Because he's the only
yeah,
one.
you know,
He's the only one that's like actually having to work out, and like that's his whole thing. That's his whole thing. Me being fit would be being comfortable in t-shirts without wanting to throw a hoodie over myself the second. Thank you. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. Yeah, yeah. Yep. I'm the same exact way.
I'm a fat kid losing weight, man. You know, I got an expectation to uphold. You know, I get people all the time, haters, that are like, oh, he's gonna quit, crash diet, blah blah blah. But then, you know, there's kids that tell me, you know, you got me out of bed today. You're the best person on the internet. Like, I love you. If I can motivate someone, one person a day, to do something, to better themselves, I'm gonna do everything in my power to keep myself going. And that means not quitting. And that means looking a certain way, always developing, always growing.
Yeah.
And, you know, because if I quit, I'm letting down thousands of people.
When he actually really puts effort into his look for himself, he's the only one carrying his middle ground apart, and I disagree with some of his points.
I think with practice, you get over those pressures.
Wait, yeah, he's the only one who actually really puts effort into his look for himself. He's the one carrying this middle ground apart from. I disagree with some of his points.
You learn
I think it's
how to deal with it,
yeah,
and understand that the pressure is really from yourself. It's internalized. Like, you're thinking about what others think of you, when in reality they could care less. They don't even see the little things.
That's exactly it. I think we should stop worrying about what other people think.
But it's so hard. I mean, like, I could say that every day, and
it is.
I still think about what people think. Like,
it is. We all do. We all do. But that's something that is a good challenge for all of us. You know, that's something that we need to. You really just try. And once we get on that road, it's not easy. We're gonna have days where we're.
I think
it's. Like, oh, he thinks.
I think it's less of. Wait, what are the things of you, homie? It's called anxiety. Yeah, and I don't. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I think it's not about just not thinking about people think of you, because we're all gonna think about it, but just being okay with people think about you. You know, when you have anxiety and you have, you know, when you're just human. And people, you're on social media and you're putting yourself out there, and even me, you know, I get hate, and I'm nowhere near as big as probably any of these people. You know, I still get hate. You know, I get made fun of and bullied online all the time. Even on my, especially on my YouTube, and you know, people are brutal in the comments compared to live on Twitch. Trust me. And it's like, you know, it's really just like about. I think it's just you can't just sit there and be like, well, you know, oh well, I guess, you know, it doesn't really bother me, so. But just being like, okay, maybe they got a point. Maybe I am a bit fat. You know, sure, whatever. You know, I'm okay with that. They're right. Or maybe I am bad at this game, you know? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, just be, it's just about, I think it's more just about being okay with it. And just being okay with people talking shit. You know, people are going to be assholes. You know, block them. Delete the message. Get rid of it if you don't want to see it, but don't let it get to you. But also, don't act like it's not there. You get hate? Who I gotta... Oh, yeah. I mean, any person on the internet's gonna get hate. You know, I've gotten... I do get hate here and there. It's not a lot, you know, but I do. And, you know, it's like... I'm still new to everything. I'm still, you know, growing as a person and as a content creator. So I'm still a noob kind of to a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, when I get, like, you know, a few thousand views on a video... You know, I get a couple comments that's just like, you know, oh, this is trash, you're trash, or, you know, you're bad at this game. And I'm just like, bruh, like, who said I was a pro? You know what I mean? And it's like, it's whatever. Like, yeah, sure, I'm bad at the game, but who said I was a pro? Who said I was the best? Well, I say I'm the best, but that's a joke.
But if we can get past that, even just a little bit, it's just going to make our lives even easier. You know, just stop worrying about other people. Worry about yourself. Yeah.
I also just feel like, you know, like everybody else, this is my account and you are a guest here. You know, I have had to learn to not be that way. So, and for Nick, I understand that, you know, your social media and your journey is
that's
very
a good way to look at it.
Like, I could.
But also, you shouldn't get like,
or you're following with
weird about
expectations for you to continue to lose the weight. It's like, okay, well, we joined this guy so that we could join his journey on his weight loss. So we only want to see him doing the weight loss. Like, you better not like plateau or gain. You know, I could definitely see that.
Well, it's a sense of accountability, and it really helps me. keep my shit going. Otherwise, I would have dropped out a long time ago, to be honest. And I don't do like this is how to do a curl and things like that. I
Honestly,
just do, like, how I
Rose, you
feel.
could. Like, dude, I was like even just 3 years ago, I was like I mean, even 2 years ago, a year, 2 years ago, I was sensitive as hell. I was, and I was really bad, and I was sensitive. I was super. Everything got to me basically, even worse as a kid. But I think you get to a point in social media when you're around it long enough where things just start getting repetitive enough to where it's like it doesn't even mean anything anymore. You get called like even just being black. How many times I got called the N-word for no reason? Like, it doesn't even mean anything anymore because I get called it so many times that it's like I know every single time someone says it, it's just meaningless hate speech. And it's just like toxic. And it's like they have nothing more than to call me a word they probably barely understand. Or call me fat. You know how many times I gotten called fat live on stream? You know what I mean? It just gets to a point where it's like every single person does that is the same. They're sensitive, they're pathetic, and they're pieces of shit. And it's like you just start seeing these habits, or not even habits. What's the word I'm looking for? You just see the repetitiveness. You see the same things in the same people, and it's just like that's not me. That's not you, Rose. That's not. Because you're the person spreading positivity. I see your Instagram. You're the one spreading positivity. You're the one going out there making people feel good and spreading information that people need to see and hear. You got nothing to be sensitive about because you're the best. That's all you got to think about.
I sort of have a self-deprecating
You know what I mean?
outlook on myself and how I feel. And it's sort of like a military style thing. Like, you're trash. Like,
You got
will
hobbies,
never be good. Just give up.
Those people, their hobby is shitting on
I
people.
think that's interesting that you say that because
Yeah,
the content that I post is not just for people.
You do.
It's mostly for me, and it's part of my own.
When you post those those like on your story about like people going through like really heavy stuff, or people being discriminated and oppressed, and you're saying help this person or show some love to this person to make their life a little bit easier. Well, that's positivity. You're spreading that information not because you have to, but out of your own free will. Even if it is just to like, a few people. Those few people are going to do good with that, and they wouldn't have done that without you. And that's what matters.
To see myself in like sweating, like trying to do a headstand and falling,
and that's just on
or
social
looking
media.
lamb for an event,
You know what I mean?
and everything between. So being authentic and like showing up as I am, whether people like it or not, or expecting it or not, is an exercise in self-love. It helps me accept myself. I was really shy as a kid, and also overweight or fat. I think the misconception is that I wasn't intelligent.
Oh, there it is.
Like, that's a lot of the bullying I got, right? Yeah, I don't think I dealt with it well. It wasn't until later in life where I started to kind of reject that narrative.
Weight loss programs are toxic.
Weight loss programs are toxic. Interesting. Oh, they all sat down. I actually would love to hear about this.
Promoters
Sorry, we kind of went off topic.
Promoting these weight loss programs or these diets that aren't working for everyone. And it's kind of sad to see because it's really affecting people and like the way they see fitness and health,
something?
and it's toxic.
I think, and the focus is always, or it seems to be like, just lose the weight, just lose the weight, just lose the weight,
Yeah.
and you'll be happy and everything will be okay, and
Yeah.
you'll feel good and you'll fit into that. But it's like, whoa, I can lose all that weight and I could still be miserable.
Personally, in my journey, one of my biggest points is I do not use a scale because
Who's breaking their
goals to
chair?
me
Yeah.
are limitations. And when you hit that goal, you get comfortable, aka complacent. You're like, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds and then I'm good. And so I don't focus on the weight. I focus on everything else. I focus on, getting out of bed, that routine of going to the gym, that routine of eating healthy, that that normal feeling of like a caloric deficit and things like that.
That's a good way to do it too. I'm a fitness trainer too, and I tell my clients, I'm like, the scale really doesn't tell you much. You're gonna fluctuate. It's water weight. It's a lot to it.
Yeah.
You gotta look at yourself in the mirror. You gotta see those physical changes.
I don't even think it's the physical changes, because I'm gonna be straight up. I probably had body dysmorphia for a little bit, and I would always like check myself in the mirror. You know, like after eating, I would check myself because I wanted to keep a six-pack because the fitness industry told me that I needed a six-pack. You hear fitness influencer and like the first thing you think is like weight loss program, selling a course. And I purposely wore this shirt this morning just to see like if there would be any extra bias. One thing I noticed about fitness, being in this space for so long, is that just because you're into fitness doesn't mean you're into health.
True.
I told everyone that I dealt with body dysmorphia, and I think
hello, ankle
dealing
biter.
with it's just learning that my value is not completely tied to my appearance.
He's just sleeping in a
There's so
living
many
room.
other things that I can see value in myself now. I really do enjoy the autonomy I have over my own health and my own wellness.
I have suffered from eating disorders.
Interesting. Wow, all of them sat
I
down.
didn't realize it until a couple years after, but I was tracking like every food. I did track calories, macros. Man, I had my scale and I would bring it like to the college's dining hall. I would like weigh everything.
Jesus.
And it would get to the point where I would either eat before going out, like if I knew my friends were gonna go out to eat, I would eat at home so I could measure all the food out, put it into MyFitnessPal, and then go out and not eat with them. Or I would probably just not go out at all.
Food and fitness really took over my life for a few years. I was super, super obsessed with just, getting that goal weight or looking good and everything like that.
But is that
And
like an
I found
actual
myself
eating
just super
disorder?
depressed. And
Like not to like make it
you know-
feel any less, but like, what would that be considered? You know what I mean? Having like, what disorder would that be? When you're like completely focused on what you're eating and that's like your entire life, it takes over your life. Like there's like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Didn't eat the foods I wanted to eat, and I over-exercised, and I wasn't myself. It was just a horrible point in my life, and I had to go see a doctor. I had to get that help. Mentally, I wasn't there. So these things are real. Like
I think
this
that's just
stuff
watching
happens,
what
and people
you
don't
eat
reach
with
out
extra
enough.
emphasis.
Last
Yeah.
time I had really restricted my eating. I needed to lose
Extra emphasis when it takes over your life.
almost 30
man.
pounds in like 11 days, and
Wow.
I
Wait,
lost
what?
30 pounds and had really restricted my eating. I needed to lose like almost 30 pounds in like 11 days.
Jesus.
And, I did that, and I stepped on the wrestling mat, and I had absolutely no strength. I had no energy, no strength. I got whooped. I got tossed up and down the mat. And then after that, I told myself that I would never do it again. But of course, out of bad habits, I just picked up another bad habit and then began to enjoy binge eating. And then it was like, okay, well, now I'm not restricting anything, and now everything goes.
And how are you now?
Now I'm much better. Therapy, medication, everyday practicing, doing the right kinds of things. I'm much better now.
I suffered from an eating disorder. I had childhood trauma, and it took me until my adulthood to realize I was pacifying with food, and that's something that was taught to me. And then on the other end of that, with extreme dieting, like I did the HCG protocol, where you eat 500 calories a day and give yourself
The HCG diet uses an extremely low calorie intake to achieve dramatic weight loss. The Food and Drug Administration has deemed this diet dangerous, illegal, and fraudulent. That is bad.
injection for months on end. And so I have done the full spectrum.
The 500 calorie diet, was that something with like a medical professional that they recommended?
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
was that? Like
It was traumatic. It drove me into a spiral. Like I can relate to what you're saying about,
who
like,
we gotta
picking your
punch
scale
though?
and eating before you went out with your friends, because that was me.
Because that's
It's really, it's
That's
taken so
illegal.
much time for me to get to a point to even
who
know
suggested
what
that? I don't
like to
know
eat.
about that.
And It took me until like 25, 30
I was
to
saying it
realize,
too.
okay,
Yeah,
I don't actually
who?
like eating that. I actually don't like this. I like this. And,
I
it's
go to a
been really
dietitian.
healing
She told
to,
me
like,
that she's out.
reclaim my relationship with food and to say like, okay, this is what I like and this is what makes me feel really good.
As a fitness influencer, what are some things I can do that helps out the other side, which would be fat influencers? What are like certain things that you guys promote that you could see me promoting?
Really want people to stop looking at fat people and all of a sudden becoming medical professionals and telling me about high blood pressure and diabetes, because again, you're not a medical professional, right? Like let's let the fat people do the mukbangs too, you know? Like if you want to do one, that is so cool. But if a fat person wants to do one, let us just do it in peace.
I mean, that's fair.
You know? That would be my takeaway. Because you never know what we're doing behind the scenes. You don't know how many therapists, how many doctors, dietitians. You have no idea how many things that we've had.
I want to know a little bit more about the beauty standard on, we're in 2021 and it's not like back in the day now.
Yeah.
Are we making the right direction? Is that good?
I think it's reactive. It's good. Like, visibility is important. I've talked about this before earlier. I think that we all deserve to be represented, no matter what we look like, no matter what the status of our health. We should all see ourselves in the world. So I think, there is progress being made. There are brands that are making sizes that more people can wear. We are seeing body diversity on magazines and things like that. But it's very reactive and it's very tied into commerce and marketing. Yeah. So is it real? I don't know. Yeah. But it's part of our culture and it's slowly shifting for whatever reason, like regardless, it will eventually have an impact on society as a whole. So yes and no.
Is it going to promote people to think it's okay to be overweight?
Here's the thing, people have been fat since people have existed.
Yeah.
I don't think that showing us as we are is going to have a negative impact. We are here. We have always been here. You can go to the Louvre and see sculptures of fat people. Fat people have always been around.
Being a fitness influencer, it's good to see that perspective from everyone too. We all have our differences, but as long as we stay on the path that we want to stay on, healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, we're going to be okay. And it's okay to get help. It always is okay to get help.
Thank you so much, everyone.
I think it's okay to be who you want to be. It's not okay to be who you want to be and force that or even manipulate others into being who you want to be. You should, I think, fat, fit, whatever it is, just promote others being who they want to be. And also, don't be afraid to promote a little bit of it's also okay to be healthy and take care of yourself. Go to doctors. You want to be a little on the chubbier side, that's fine, but go to a doctor. Make sure you're not dying. We're good, dog. I mean, same with being skinny. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you should always go to doctors and just check up on your health and make sure you're okay. Because you're not always okay. We're human and things happen.